Gonna be, who's up first? Lithania first up versus Daniel CEO. Gonna go for a reset with a stun until Lithania forces to trick it out of the rogue really early on. Evasion, that's gonna be sepsis. Lots of damage. Daniel just gonna try to see if he can bear form a lot of the bark skin. Got himself a little bit of re-heal. Getting shot by the rogue. Looking to lock down Daniel for just a second. Isn't going to be enough damage though. Got himself lots of ambushes, just absolutely piercing through the armor. With Lithania, get hit with a stun real quickly. Gouge to follow. Does he go for a full reset? Potentially just trying to see if he can back away from Daniel. Actually starting to break into the damage of the Feral Druid. Big headshot to follow. Daniel could be in big trouble. Massive ambushes to follow. Wait, does Daniel go down? Bear form wall. That's going to be Kindred Shot. Potentially could be a blind on Lithania just to keep Daniel low on health. Doesn't look like the man is running Thorns either, which would have been perfect against this rogue. But Daniel may be able to turn around on the rogue right now. The rogue goes in for a vanish. Does he go for a sap onto Daniel potentially? Trying to go for big pistols. Big finisher. Bash to follow. Is Daniel going to be able to finish him off right now? May just have it. Oh, and the rogue goes in for a quick ambush. Piercing right through the Feral Druid. When's the last time you've seen an Outlaw rogue compete with a Feral Druid before? This spec is nuts, man. It got a lot of sustained damage, like really high sustained damage, like constantly putting pressure. Not really bursty per se, but he does have like a burst window, I guess. Gonna be Lithania getting hit with a stun. Grenades to follow. Trinkets out of it. Try to see if he can catch up to iFox. Does go for the kidney shot. Ambushes. Mad damage out of the Outlaw Rogue with a chicken out of iFox. Will survive with the finish. Gonna be poisoned on him. Does go for feign death. I think cleanses themselves of the poisons. Lithania, do you have an evasion right now? Because you may need it. Try to keep the pressure on to iFox. May just have him. Oh, he does go for the ambushes. I think the sepsis still takes through. I think that sepsis still went through all the way. Gonna be Shadow Wrist. Quick disarm onto the Shaman as Lithania continued to spam those ambushes back to back, spiking them into Shadow Wrist. The Elemental Wolves or Elemental Raptors are not letting you go anywhere at all. But it's going to be Shadow Wrist picking up the eye. The rogue opened it up with an ambush. Kidney shot right after. Is it going to be enough to lock him down? Try to go for big between the eyes. Big between the eyes with a crit damage buff. Going to be Earth Elemental together with a Dwarven Racial. 10% damage reduction. Taking all bleeds and poisons as well. But the rogue just continues to stay relentlessly on top with Shadow Wrist. The Ellie Wolves come out. Double Lightning Bolts could give Shadow Wrist potentially a big play if he has big Lightning Bolts banked up and ready. Going to be another kidney shot onto Shadow Wrist. It is very, very DR'd. Big ascendance for Shadow Wrist. Is it going to be enough? The massive nature damage towards Lithania. Do they take down the rogue? The rogue trying to stay in there with a sepsis rolling onto Shadow Wrist. This is going to tick out on him over time. Get a shot onto Shadow Wrist. Lithania is going to try to see if he can potentially take him out. Sunder for a second. Doesn't quite connect. Disarm. I think Shadow Wrist may be in a bit of trouble. Let's get Maelstrom. Oh! And the ambush comes out anyway, either way. My goodness. Get a shot by Lithania. Gonna be a trinket out of haste. Try to see if he can stay ahead of the rogue. Gonna be the pet joined in with a shadow crunch. Doesn't quite connect, but it's gonna be big kill spray out of Lithania. Just trying to see if he can maximize damage with his haste. Looking for those crits. Dark Ascension by the shadow priest getting interrupted though, but I think the rogue is dead. Oh, he does end up melting the rogue over time. All it took is a shadow priest boy to put up all the dots, devouring plagues, all the diseases and afflictions together with a slappy tentacle boy, a little squiddy man. That's all it took. But the Outlaw Rogue, man, they're popping off, honestly. Haste, try to see if he can fight versus Tree. This is going to be a Skull Bash out of the Feral Druid. Looking for back-to-back bites. This is going to be enough, though. Could be a Skull Bash out of the Feral Druid. Back-to-back bites by Haste. Is able to maintain himself. Mind Flay Insanity for a second. Does get hit with a Skull Bash. Could potentially go for a big heal. Does have Holy Spells that he can cast in order to keep himself afloat. Stun onto Tree, but does have a wall for it. Haste, looking to keep himself recovered as best as possible. Bash by the Feral Druid. Not enough really left for him. Haste, do you just go down right here and try to keep himself alive as best as you can? Needs anything to survive. That's going to be a massive heal with Power Life. Give himself a little bit extra survivability. Haste, a Tree, a super low. Exit comes out. Oh, does he get him dotted up? He does get him dotted, but I don't think it's going to be enough. No. When Chicago tried to charge, I feel like that Thunder should have connected. Is it me? But I feel like that Thunder should have connected. Gonna be a big lightning lasso onto the Feral Druid. Does end up taking him down with that zap. Palpatine style, big charge by Flex with a coordinated assault. Chicago under a ton of pressure immediately by the Hunter, walling this damage off. Ghost Raptors at the ready, lots of Maelstrom getting built up. Does go for the root onto the main pet. It's going to start striking the pet for a bit more Maelstrom. Needs a lot of recovery, needs a lot of survivability. Does get a wall rolling in too. And it's going to be Flex. All the traps laden for Chicago, trying to see if he can kite right through him. Earth Elemental at the ready as well. Gotta give Chicago a little bit extra help to work with. Root onto Flex for just a second. Chicago is able to catch back up to him for just a moment. And Flex are putting back over towards Chicago as they're narrowly avoiding that steel trap. Could have been put in a really bad spot right there. but is trying to avoid Flex, trying to fight the Ghost Raptors or his main Raptors as best as possible. Freezing Trap around the corner. I don't know if you can control your Ghost Raptors to attack Flex or not. Chicago kind of behind on health here right now, but cooldowns wise, they're coming back up little by little. Wall very soon. Ghost Raptors always at the ready. Always has Ghost Raptors. So Maelstrom aplenty. Stun onto Chicago. Does go for Chicken Lasso onto Flex. Does have a Chicken for his scatter onto Chicago, but the Raptors are still on Flex with the Earth Elemental harassing him. So at least Flex shouldn't be able to go for a proper reset. It's going to be many benefits of the Fate Death with the stun totem around the corner. Stunning up Flex can't even go anywhere. Unless he does take down the totem, does end up trailing the second Sun Totem, but Flex still super low with the Freezing Trap onto Chicago, looking to escape. Does Chicago have any more ways to reconnect? Needs to be fighting that Raptor at all times, trying to generate a bit more Maelstrom, trying to get a slow for Flex. Is going to be able to catch up to him fast enough, but the Steel Trap separating the two. Charger potentially doing work as well. Going to be a big charge for Flex, but put himself out in the next to Chicago. Going to be leaped by the Shaman, doesn't take him out. Oh, the Frost Shock does do it. After they get himself a bit of Maelstrom. Alpha is going to be up next. Charging out versus the Shaman is going to summon the A-Bomb, but the A-Bomb doesn't really chase up to Chicago. It just kind of goes back towards the Unholy Death Knight. Alpha is closing in. Gargo joins in with an AMS to follow. Chicago's kind of limited on what they can do versus Alpha's. Does go for the stun totem. Going to be a secondary stun as well as they'll knock back the Death Knight for just a moment. Pets are all stunned from a distance. It's going to be dropping down a root totem, and I think that's going to capture all the pets. It does root him in place. Even the Gargoyle up in the air. Alpha is kind of separated from all these pets right now, so a lot of that damage kind of just like stuck over there far away, which is perfect for Chicago. At least they're reducing a lot of the output of that undead army against them. AMD down. Alpha is kind of licking the wounds right now. Not a lot of healing available. Dampening is really high up. He's going to sacrifice the main pet, summon a new one, but he's still very limited on what he can do in terms of survivability. AMS is going to help him get a bit of that cover against magic damage for a short time. Light Lasso around the corner. Alpha, so let's see have an out. I think it may be just done and done for you. Got the Ghost Raptors on it. LA Blast. Oh, Chicago does end up blasting him out. So Chicago's not playing the Elemental Wolf, so you must be playing a Storm Striker build. Beast of the Log is going to be up next, and the last one is team representing it. Playing Demonology. Chicago not giving a lot of health really, but it is at least giving an honorable duel. So maybe Beast will even let you get a full reheal behind the pillar. Demon Dog is charging out towards Chicago. Is it going to be the big go? Summon up a Tyrant. That's going to be potentially a decent enough Pit Lord spawning from the Twisting Nether. It is a Pit Lord stun around the corner. The Pit Lord has himself a little bit extra damage, but the stun and the root on all these pets, Chicago able to avoid him. Going to be a stun to BC as well. Needs to make sure they're maintaining that obelisk. As soon as the obelisk is down, taking out the obelisk reduces the power of a lot of those pets, but that root and the stun combo for Chicago also does work. Surrounded by demons, still not in the woods just yet. With a second Pelgrim rushing in with an axe toss for you. We are at 60% dampening, so the amount of healing you get right now is very limited. Using wall to counter a lot of those damage and staying aggressive may be a better choice for you. Beastly taking a bit of damage, but so far hasn't been able to even break through the shields of the Warlock. As Chicago is still playing it super defensive behind the pillar. Demon Dog is every time the bite could be very deadly. Every time that bite happens, every time the auto attack, there's a chance to bite, and those bites just gonna be deadly. Fear. Chicago does veer him away from the Warlock for just a moment. More demon bites comes out. That's gonna be Chicago in super low health. Mortal put him out in the open. I think it may be over for Chicago right now. Not a lot of health really left. It does go down. At this point, like, you came into the duel, not a lot of health, not a lot of cooldowns to really keep the traction going, but Chicago does make a comeback with 3 back-to-back wins. Couldn't quite decimate the Demonology Warlock, but then again, who can? Demonology are kind of scary right now.